as a mother of the bride, I'm asked to bridegroom. Oh, well, almost mother of the bride. This is too much for me. The power has gone to my head. But Jess, we love you so much. And the first time you came into our lives, you came through that front door, up the drive, through the door, and there was your big smile, and you followed it, and it was just lovely, Jess. And then you were prepared to be a bit of an idiot while we had our crazy Christmas photo, and the whole family looks like idiots, and there was Jess joining in. It was just lovely, and we love having you. Now, I've got some advice. I'm going to be a good mother-in-law, Jess. I really am. And I've got advice for you. Now, if I blurt out unsolicited advice, or we did it this way, you just ignore it totally. And then I'll be happy because I've said it, and you'll be happy because you've ignored it. And I think we'll get on really well. And we've had a long time to get to know each other. Now, in the Bible, there's a verse of what love is. And love is patient, and love is kind, and love isn't boastful or proud, and so it goes on. We all know it, I think. But this, I've seen this is what your relationship is. But there's another thing at the end. It doesn't keep a record of wrongs. And my advice is you have to choose to not remember some things as the years go by. And we've all had it. All our married partners, we've all had to choose it. Now, I'm very thrilled. I think Gareth's got very good taste in a partner, but I think you've got pretty good taste too, actually. And Gareth, we were in Wales. Now, we liked the name Gareth first, but it is a Welsh name. And Gareth, they said, was the only Welsh souvenir coming home that wasn't made in Korea. So there you go. You're pretty special, and we love you both, and we're very, very proud parents and parents-in-law today. Thank you.
Thanks, dear, for being a hard act to follow. I'm going to be her George Burns to her Gracie Allen, for those who are old enough to remember who they are. When you get two engineers coming together and getting married, one of the things that you can be sure of is that it's going to be well planned, to the extent that this seems to have been planned to the level of military intelligence, to the extent that we received this spreadsheet showing where we should be, when we should be there, and what we should do when we get there. And according to this, at this time I should be giving a speech, and here I am. But seriously, Jess and Gareth have put an enormous effort into organising this event. Just about everything that's happened here today is a result of their careful planning and their care to detail. And I think all of us appreciate the effort that's gone into making today an enormous success, and they should be congratulated for that. Please join me in doing that. And finally, I'd come prepared to give all sorts of interesting advice, having survived almost 50 years of marriage myself. But having heard the speeches they both gave at the ceremony today, I decided to tear up that bit of the speech, because nothing I could say could alter the fact that they love each other so much that the rest of their lives isn't going to bring up anything that's likely to alter that love and alter that affection for each other. And anything I could tell them that they don't really need to know. But I'll join with Brenda in welcoming Jess, or Jessica I should say. She's always been Jess to us, into the family, and as Brenda said, we love her dearly, and we look forward to many, many years of sharing great times, great humour with her and Gareth as they come to visit us. Thank you very much.
Turn my hearing aids down, so I didn't.
I'd now like to invite Jess's parents, Erica and Stephen, up for their speeches.
Well, welcome everybody. As father of the bride, how fortunate am I that within the space of a little over 3 months, I can say for the second time, there is no prouder moment than to see his beautiful, radiant daughter on her wedding day among her many friends and family, both ours and Gareth's. Some might say, job done. We celebrate today with beautiful weather, and I thank you all again for coming, and especially Jessica's uncle and aunt who have travelled all the way from Perth.
It is probably fair to say that when the parents of the bride are asked to speak at her wedding, they usually start by referring to her. However, we will start by looking at Gareth. We imagine that at age 30, young Gareth was footloose and fancy-free. Not quite a confirmed bachelor, but very happy with the life he was leading. He was sociable and popular. Everyone laughed at his jokes. He also had the time to build grand Lego structures, such as a 1.5-metre high rocket. He was an expert amateur photographer who had thousands of photos that still needed cataloguing. He liked playing video games with his friends, often for a substantial portion of weekends. He also worked hard. But as Jane Austen said, it is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. Adapting this quote to modern Australian conditions, we get, a young man in his 30s with a good job must be in need of a partner, whether he is aware of that need or not.
And so it was that young Gareth was whistling his way down the corridor of life without a care in the world when he met Jess. He could be forgiven for not realising at the time of their first meeting that his life was about to change.
It is here that we venture into poetry. 'Twas on level 5 of ACOM's workplace, and Friday night drinks were proceeding apace. A fair young maiden, let's call her Jess, at age 24 was looking her best. A likely young lad, Gareth by name, was jesting with others. He was fair game. From elsewhere in the building came the ACOM water crew. They did not look forbidding. Greetings, and how do you do? Where's Wally was their theme that week. It made young Jess look unusually meek. With her extra large glasses, she looked like an owl, but a very cute example of that wonderful fowl.
And now to Jess. When, a little over a year after Jacqueline came into our lives, we became aware a second child was on its way. We thought, here we go again, and so soon. Without going into details, Jessica came in a rush. Was that a sign of things to come? You bet. Is it possible to be a gentle force of nature? Jessica is Exhibit A. From the first, Jessica was a very relaxed child who brought a smile everywhere she went. And very soon we realised that freedom and adventure were written into her DNA.
There are so many examples of how Jessica expressed her love of freedom and adventure. She would climb trees and then stretch out on her back on a branch and go to sleep. At age 5, on a short bushwalk with friends, feeling rather hot, she decided to jump off the stepping stones that went across the top of a waterfall. She was fully clothed, and there was a big sign stating the danger of going over the waterfall. Suddenly, every parent in the group was holding on to their kid. And at age 3, at the London Zoo, she escaped from me and Jackie at high speed. Where did we eventually find her? At least 10 metres inside the penguin enclosure.
And another example is on a trip to visit Uncle Tony and his family in Coffs Harbour, aged about 14. She wanted to ride his motorbike and assured him that she'd ridden a motorbike before, only to have the falsity of this proposition demonstrated soon after when she fell off. Her adventurous spirit shows in her love of travel. Of course, the gap year was never not on the cards. She had already asked for a gap year between primary and high school because she was a year younger than most of the kids in her class. But we thought society would take a dim view of parents who would let their 11-year-old child travel the world by herself. I remember calculating that by the time Jessica finished university at age 23, she had spent a total of over 2 years overseas on no fewer than 13 separate overseas trips. It's no accident that Jessica and Gareth are about to embark on quite a long honeymoon in Europe. Jessica is a kind, funny and curious person and with lots of interests. She feels strongly about the environment and climate change. She matched this feeling with one of her overseas trips with her friend Carla, promoting solar lights to rural women in India. And so it came that soon after starting work at ACOM, Jessica met Gareth. Erica, you have described your imagined life of Gareth before Jessica. How has he fared, do you think, after Jessica?
He may no longer feel quite as free as he did, but I think he is very happy. Indeed, he and Jessica are each quite unique, and I believe they are very lucky to have found each other. They both have a zany streak, which is amplified when they are together. Within less than 6 months of their first encounter, they seemed to know everything about the other, what their values were, what they were interested in, where they had travelled, and what they knew. This means that they are tiresomely unbeatable at articulate. But it also means there is an easy banter between them. It is a great relationship where one person can refer to the other as the old man, and the old man can refer to her as his little clumsy cabbage, and these can be treated as terms of endearment.
Answering the same question I just put to Erica, Gareth has come up shining. As everyone knows, Gareth is good company and very witty. When they lived with us for a year in 2021, dinner was always entertaining and full of laughter. Working for Edify Energy has seen him develop his contract negotiation skills to such an extent that he was recently mistaken for Edify's senior lawyer. I'm not sure how Jessica feels about this, having made it very clear from an early age that she had no interest in being a lawyer. He has developed an interest in carpentry, as you may have heard during the vows, and has great plans to extend his place, and their place. Some of you will know Gareth that recently made, from scratch, a bar table and matching schools, so a side hustle in carpentry might be on the cards. That Gareth and Jessica love each other is obvious. They are affectionate and kind with each other, have common interests, and are both engineers. They will construct a great life together. Please raise your glasses and toast love, health, and happiness, Jessica and Gareth.
A round of applause for both parents, sets of parents. From here, folks, entrees will be served in a couple of minutes, and we are left to our own devices until about 7, where I'll be back up here to bring in the next group of speakers. But until then, back to you in the studio. That worked really, really well. Sam, on it. Thank you, folks. Mains will be coming out shortly, but as they do come out, I'd like to invite someone to the stage to share a little bit about Jess from a somewhat unique perspective from what we've heard so far. They've known Jess for a very long time. They were also Jess's maid of honour. It's Jess's sister, Jackie.
Hi everyone, good evening. I am Jackie, Jess's one and only sister, and lucky to be the maid of honour today. Tonight, we're here to celebrate Jess and Gareth marrying. Marriage is the ultimate act of trust. And Gareth, you shouldn't feel that today is in any way diminished by Jess's abundance of trust, as demonstrated by her willingness to couch surf on a complete stranger's place in Brazil, a country with one of the highest murder rates in the world. Jess is trusting because she truly sees the best in people and in the world, and this motivates her to care about protecting the world. You only need to meet Jess for about 10 minutes to know that she's a passionate person. And what she's most passionate about, after Gareth, is the environment. Jess is one of the lucky ones who has managed to fulfill her passion through her job. Jess studied environmental engineering at university and is now helping the New South Wales government on a range of sustainability initiatives. I knew that this would be her path from an early age, with one particular memory standing out. When Northbridge Primary School gave everyone in Jess's class a sapling to take home and plant in the backyard, Jess took things a little further, naming her beloved sapling Stumpy, even writing and constantly singing a song about her dear little Stumpy. And while Jess loves plants, she also deeply cares about the people in her life. She has an incredible circle of friends from all different parts of her life. And I was lucky enough to meet a lot of them at Jess's hens the other weekend. Jess has surrounded herself with bright, intelligent, caring people just like her. Jess is an adventurer at heart, no doubt inspired by the many trips that our parents took us on growing up. Jess had the goal of visiting all of the continents before she turned 21. And she's now met people and experienced incredible cultures on every single continent, with the exception of Antarctica. An early solo trip saw Jess spending a summer volunteering in Africa. Towards the end of this trip, she decided she wanted to do a hike. Didn't pack hiking shoes? No worries. Hasn't physically exercised or trained in months? Not a problem. She's decided, only a few days out, to climb the tallest peak in Kenya, Mount Kenya. And not as part of a large, organised tour. Oh no. It's just her and a bunch of men who are ostensibly her tour guide. So I've spoken about what a beautiful person Jessica is on the inside, but she's also stunning on the outside. I've always been jealous that Jess inherited the Austrian genes in our family, getting that gorgeous blonde hair and blue eyes. Once when we were shopping in Adelaide, a shop assistant told her she could be the next Gemma Ward, and he wasn't just trying to get a sale. She can also be stubborn at times, so be warned, Gareth. One standout example of Jess's stubbornness is when she was travelling through Croatia with friends on her gap year. She thought it would be a good idea to ride a motorcycle solo, instead of jumping on the back of a motorcycle driven by a guy she and her friends had met just the day before. At first glance, not getting on a stranger's motorcycle seems like a really good idea, except that Jess didn't know how to drive a motorcycle by herself. And so inevitably, she crashed on a bend and grazed one side of her body. Not the least bit deterred, or some might say too stubborn to admit she was in pain, she got back on and kept driving, only to fall off a second time, grazing the other side of her body. Despite being told, "This is not a graze, this is a burn," she decided not to get medical attention. And so what this meant was that by the time she got to her next destination, in Rome, doctors at the hospital had to take the skin off her thigh, the infected skin. So it's no surprise that I am very glad that Gareth is going with Jess on this next trip to Europe, their 3-month honeymoon. So Gareth, please make sure she doesn't do anything too silly. But I wasn't always such a fan of Gareth. When they first started dating, I thought, this is just an office fling, it won't last. And then a few months in, I thought, this guy, he's just the first proper adult relationship Jess has had. It won't last. And then when it became apparent that they both really, really liked each other, my protective, some might say paternalistic, instinct kicked in, and I thought, he's not good enough for her, because no one will ever be good enough for my amazing little sister. But then I got to know him. I got to see what a kind, intelligent man he is. The sort of man who will stay outside in below zero temperatures, on hands and knees, searching through the snow to find Jess's lost driver's license, refusing to give up the search for days until he had found it, smashed to pieces. The man who can diffuse tension at the 4-item family dinner table with a perfectly timed, hilarious joke. The man who looks at Jess adoringly, even when she's making a fish face or oogie sound effects. The man who loves my sister completely and whose love makes Jess's laugh bigger and her smile brighter. Jess and Gareth, you complement each other perfectly. Your values, your intelligence, your quirkiness, your goals for life. Importantly, you both share the same sense of humour. And I love sitting across from both of you when one of you has made the other laugh. The love, affection, and brightness that exists between you both in that moment is so beautiful and pure. May you often find moments like that throughout the course of your marriage. I have no doubt that your marriage will be a strong one, based on a deep and mutual understanding of each other, coupled with exceptionally strong shared values of loyalty, laughter and fun, integrity and honesty, intellectual curiosity, left-wing political ideologies, and environmental protection. I am so excited that you two are now married. I'm so happy, Gareth, to be able to call you my brother. And I look forward to many more Christmas Eves with Baileys and cookies, to living close enough to call ourselves neighbours, and to ganging up on Gareth and getting him on more winter ski holidays. Mitch and I will always be there for you both, and we cannot wait to experience the next exciting chapters in your life. To Jess and Gareth.
Part of the MC gig also allowed me to make a couple of words myself. Gareth thought it was a good idea, someone who's known him 20-odd years, to be given the microphone and allowed free rein. Like I said, I've known Gareth for 20-odd years, probably coming up on 25. In these 25-odd years, we've had a lot of conversations, some really awesome adventures, heaps of common interests, and our fair share of slightly dumb shit. And so whilst it's a pleasure and an honour to be up here on Gareth and Jess's spectacular night, and it is a spectacular night, it did provide me some frustration when I was trying to write this. What do I actually talk about? Because what frustrated me was, how do I summarise Gareth or pick a single great memory from a friendship that started back in Year 7 English class and is still going strong today in just a few minutes? I literally sat in front of my computer, just writer's block, because there's too many things to talk to. I could talk to the vodka and orange juice breakfast we had when staying the weekend at his place and feeling the effects of slightly too much booze at 9:30 a.m. whilst we're in Year 8. That's where that one went. Going to Germany in Year 10 and nerding out when the Lufthansa pilot said, yeah, come on up, have a look at what we're doing. And seeing the cockpit and the pilots doing their thing and both of us being like, this is awesome. There was also seeing how fast his Suzuki Swift could go on Bradfield Road in Linfield. with the Fast and Furious manoeuvre from Gareth when the Ozpost truck pulled out in front of us. Marvelling at Gareth's homemade bootleg blockbuster. DVDs, perfectly printed, everything. Calling ourselves chefs with a high five when we made sausage rolls by literally wrapping sausages in puff pastry. Job done. Catching up after work just to drive to the airport for a donut and for both of us to sit, talk, listen and support about anything and everything for a couple of hours. And this is where a new name appears. Hearing about this girl Jess, he's just started seeing and how it's all going really, really well. Dinners with Jess and Gareth at our place, their place, or the closest place with really good dumplings, and the awesome conversations and many laughs that came with that. Gareth and Jess meeting my daughter and holding her when she was just 4 weeks old. More meals with more laughter, but now with a toddler/young child in tow as well. Towards the end of that highlight reel, we all noticed the second name appearing there, Jess's. And thinking back on this and the dynamic that I've sort of seen when seeing them hang out together, it's really clear how this came about. Regardless of which way you put it, whether it's Jess and Gareth, Gareth and Jess, they just work. When we all hang out together, what I notice is the humour, be it laughing at what's happening around them or finding the joke in the conversation. There's just a way that they seem to always find the funny side, and that's been called out tonight as well. And it's generally with cheeky humour. The card that Gareth and Jess gave Tash and I for our wedding comes to mind, and I'll let you ask them what that was. There's a smile or a laugh that's never ever far away from them. The other thing I noticed about Jess and Gareth's dynamic is how they communicate and to a wider extent go about seeing the world. There is trust, both given and received between them, and heaps of respect as well. And I think it can be best summarised with a quote from a great coach. Be curious, not judgmental. Ted Lasso. Neither of them rush to judgment, but approach conversations with empathy. And I've seen this when we've spoken about work stuff, life stuff, and we've had, or I've had, or they've had contrary views. And that's, when you think about it, a fantastic place for them to have started a relationship from. I can see that they are absolutely right together, and it makes me both really, really happy, but also content to see not just one of my dearest friends happy, but that both of them happy together. And having gotten to know Jess, she's as awesome as Gareth is. Now, Gaz, I got told by my dad that some level of tradition states I have to include some sort of advice in this as well. He also says congrats. You guys are both cleverer than I am, so I'm going to keep this delightfully simple. Just keep doing what you're doing. You guys know why you got married better than I or anyone here can put into words, because Gareth, you know why you asked, and Jess, you know why you said yes. So just keep doing what you're doing and trust in yourselves and each other in equal amounts, and you'll be set. I'm looking forward to the new memories we'll keep making together as a group of friends, but I'm even more looking forward to hearing from you guys about the memories you'll continue to make together. And with that, I'd like you to raise glasses and toast Gareth and Jess and their future memories together. Thanks, folks. Now, I'm going to pass to Gareth's best man, Sam. One thing to know, and I think this is worth calling out as well, and Gareth, Jess, not wanting to take the light away from you guys at all, Facebook told me it was Sam's birthday today. So Sam, floor is yours.
Thank you, Toby. Hello, everyone. My name is Sam, and I'll be doing the best man speech today. That's it. Doesn't Gareth look good today? And to be honest, every day. Gareth is handsome, smart, and all around... Sorry, Gareth, I'm finding it hard to read your writing. I know this speech should be about stories and adventures Gareth and I have had, but I think I might address the main issue of today. Today marks the official day that Jess takes Gareth away from me. See, Jess, before you, there was me. Me and Gareth. We travelled the world together, we shot guns together, yes, we even slept together. Several times. To save on accommodation costs. See, I was there for Gareth. When Gareth was too scared to walk past a dark bush in Byron, I was there for him. Also scared myself, but I was there. When Gareth was hungry at 11 p.m. at Tryon Oval, I was there with the Coles roast chicken ready to go. Jess, with all my years of experience, I wish to share with you some things that did work. If school is anything to go by, if Gareth needs to concentrate in the morning, he does best with a Macca's breakfast. Unlike sport, the most I've seen Gareth do sport is at 1 a.m. at the primary school next to his parents' place, after a few pre-drinks. In the last few years, I have gotten to know Jess. With the time we have spent together, I can tell that she is a very smart, knowledgeable, strong, and informed woman. She cares for those around her and the future of the planet. She cares for the environment and equality for all. So far, she's been able to prove me wrong on all my misogynistic and ignorant views. But I do have one question for you, Jess. Why are we called Hugh Man and not Hugh Woman? But like all strong armour, there are weak points, and it seems that Gareth, the White Knight, has been able to penetrate her armour and somehow convince this woman he is worthy of her time. With the time I have been around Gareth and Jess, I can truly see the love between them. Jess, you bring out the best in Gareth. The smile I see on his face when you two are together is of pure joy and happiness. You have taken a reckless boy that does skydiving for fun and turned him into a man. Although it is bittersweet that you are taking Gareth away from me, there was only so much I could do for him. As they say, out with the old and in with the new and better looking. My time has come to an end. Gareth and I have made some good memories together. We've even lost some short-term memories together. It's time for you two to travel the world together, make and lose your own memories, and maybe even sleep together. It would be prudent for me not to share a piece of my wisdom from being married for what feels like an eternity. If you and Jess have a disagreement and she stubbornly can't see that you are right, don't go to sleep until it's sorted. They say that married couples shouldn't go to sleep if they have an unresolved argument. So when that happens, just come over to my place. There's a good chance I won't be sleeping either. Let's raise a glass to the happy couple. Love isn't about finding someone you could live with. It's about finding someone you can't live without. Cheers.
Well done. I think it's fair to say definitely the best man speech there. Folks, mains will be coming out in but moments, and again, it's back to you in the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the penultimate speech. So I'd like to invite Gareth and Jess up to the stage, as it is their night, and it is absolutely reasonable to hear from them.
Okay, everyone. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us for this milestone moment and coming all the way to Kangaroo Valley so we could tie the knot in this beautiful part of the world. First off, we'd like to thank both sets of parents for showing us nothing but love throughout our lives and for setting great examples of marriage, and also their financial contributions to make today what it is. So thank you very much.
And a very special thanks to my nibblings, and that is a word I'm trying to get into the vocabulary. It is the non-gender specific version of nieces and nephews. So can I get a wave from Harry, Summer, Lucy and Sash? Really, really well done today leading the procession. And Harry and Summer, and Sasha and Lucy, your enthusiasm over the last few weeks has just been so infectious, and we just love it. Thank you so much.
And thanks to my maid of honor, Jackie, for being such a wonderful and generous person, a rock throughout my life, and my bridesmaids for bringing me so much joy and laughter. I appreciate our friendship so much. And thanks to all four for helping me feel so special, whether it was wedding dress shopping or going above and beyond to organize a hens that will always compete with tonight for being the best night of my life. It is hard to compete with semi-naked cowboys.
Sorry for that interlude. And to my groomsmen, you've all played a unique and important role in my life and contributed so much to who I am today. Woo! I'm sorry to say goodbye to Sam. It's been a long run, Sam. You did so well, but yeah, handing over the reins now. You've all been there for me through the fun times and even more importantly, through the most challenging times. And I'm so glad that you can all be here today for what is absolutely the best day of my life. And I'm particularly grateful for all the effort that went into organising my Bucks party, which really was an utterly superb personification of who I am and a great opportunity to celebrate the wonderful friendships I'm so fortunate to have. I managed to get through it without any injuries, not counting damaged brain cells, and left with a multitude of treasured memories and the drawings. I kept all of those too.
We'd also like to give a shout out to my cousin Dylan, who did all the flowers, from the bouquets to the arbor, to the cake, to the buttonholes. It involved having to wake up very early on 2 occasions, and also to his partner Lawrence, who helped along the way. So thank you very much. We'd like to thank my uncle and aunt, David and Lee, for coming all the way from Perth. It means a lot. And also to Nick and Terry for coming from Brisbane. And this is where my speech had 2 options. This is where I'm going to thank the weather gods. Because, yes, I was very stressed about that, and I feel very fortunate for how well the weather turned out. And the view here is amazing, so I'm glad everyone got to experience that.
And so to finish, each of you has played a role in loving us and encouraging us, or even just sharing experiences in creating valuable memories. As we embark on this next chapter of our lives, we couldn't be more grateful and comforted to know we have all of your love and support. So thank you very much. And also, this isn't actually part of the script, but Jess put so much effort into organising today. And yes, I played a role, but you played an overwhelming role. And you've done so well. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud to call you my wife.
feel like I need to follow that. I'm very proud to call you my husband. Sorry.
Well, folks, before you go anywhere, one thing we can do to really add to the husband and wife occasion is a tradition where we light 2 candles, to one each, to then light them together, yeah? Beautiful. So, Omar, welcome up here. Perfect. I'm gonna, yeah? Yeah. So if you can help me light those 2 candles and then pass one to Gareth, one to Jess. All right. All right. Whoa, close. There we go, there we go, there we go. Hey. Oh. Yeah. Yep. There we go. So I'll ask you to pass one to Gareth, one to Jess. And folks, should we count them down or just leave them to it? All right, Gareth, Jess, go ahead, light it. And whilst you're up there, and we've got everyone in place, let's cut the cake. Okay. Our last piece, whilst you guys are up here, is the bouquet. Where is it? If someone can bring that up, Sam.
Okay. If we can get a bit of a chant going, throw, 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 throw. There it goes. Well caught, well caught, well caught. Now, if everyone but Jess and Gareth could, yeah. Okay. So guys, we have the option of moving back. We have the option of hanging up the front and standing, because I'd like to invite Gareth and Jess, as the newly married couple, to perform their first... Huh? Yeah. Okay. So guys, I'll ask you all to stand for a better view as we see Gareth and Jess kick off their first dance as husband and wife.
I found a love for me. Well, darling, just dive right in. Follow my lead. Well, I found a girl, beautiful and sweet. Well, I never knew you were the someone waiting for me. 'Cause we were just kids when we fell in love, not knowing what it was. I will not give you up this time. But darling, just kiss me slow. Your heart is all I own, and in your eyes you're holding mine. with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, we're listening to our favorite song. When you said you looked a mess, I whispered underneath my breath, but you heard it. Darling, you look perfect tonight. Well, I found a woman.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, join them up on the dance floor.